keep waiting for you if you had to leave. I would wait a lifetime if you were at sea. I just wanna say that I feel that our love is real. Maybe we should hurry up and seal the deal. Take you there. I would give it all away to do it all again. Make our love a story that would never end. Never thought I'd feel so alive, looking in your eyes. I just wanna love you till the day I die. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better, 'cause I love take you there. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. If I'm gonna love somebody, I just wanna love you. Oh, oh, I just wanna love you right. Oh, oh, love you till the end of time. I just wanna hold you for forever. Every day you're making me better, 'cause a love like this is rare. And I wanna take you there.
Gonna let the sun shine in today. I'm trying to make this darkness go away. I'll paint with colors and I'll sing until my lungs give out. I'm gonna let the sun shine in today. And I will leave my windows open so that I can hear the sound of talking, the wind blowing in the trees. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. Gonna let the past be filled with smoke, and I will try to fix what has been broken, and take this weight off my shoulders, 'cause I know yesterday ain't coming back. I'm gonna let the past stay in the cold. I will listen to the ocean, let its unsaid words be spoken, and I'll let my mind be carried by the waves. Oh, I will open up my eyes so I can see the light. Oh, and I'll try to spread I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day. Try to spread my wings so I can fly. Oh, and the darkness starts to fade. Feels like things are gonna go my way. I'm gonna let the sun shine in the day.
Looking for my mother's eyes as I'm staying close to the mirror. A lock of gold, a secret smile, little things I remember. Place a hand upon my heart as her, she was a believer. Sometimes I can feel her arms holding me as forever. Time changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart, and any heart can change you. I see in you my mother's eyes, and I lay your head to my shoulder. A lock of gold, a secret smile, I will tell you when you get older. I place a hand upon
Hello Inkies! I thought since I'm doing a very mishmash studio vlog that I would show you the bag that I pre-ordered way back in late March, early April. This was part of my birthday present, and it took a really long time. It was a pre-order. I knew it was going to take quite a while. It was meant to come in July, and it didn't come until last week. So last Friday I believe it arrived. So this is, I'm pretty sure it's the analog bag from Kuchen, and this is in the sort of bright yellow mustardy color. It is a Superior Labor collaboration, and I'm pretty sure this is the design that they designed as a company. And I had seen quite a few videos on it, and it looked like a really sort of travel friendly bag, and so I asked for it for part of my birthday present, the main part of my birthday present, and I knew that I wouldn't get it on my birthday because it was a pre-order, and that was okay. It was like one of those things that are like a delayed gratification, because we're saving for our trip to Japan and a few other things. Spending's been cut down to like the bare minimum, and we're trying to save all our money for our spending money for our trip and all that sort of stuff. So I knew that I couldn't purchase something like this when that kicked in, so the fact that I got to pre-order it before all that came into effect was really nice. So this is the bag, and it is quite a lovely size. It's got the beautiful leather pocket and detailing on here. I've got you balanced on my bed, so I'm trying not to move too much so that you don't feel all wonky. But it has detachable leather strap, and the hardware is super like really, what's the word, durable. Like, it's got weight to it. I will do some close-up footage overlays as well. It's got the shoulder strap, like the what do you call that, like a, not a safety strap, but like a comfort strap, which I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, but I've been carrying it since I got it. Like I switched into it straight away to test drive it to see if it was a contender for my Japan bag, as well as my Kunken. I think it's got a real potential. It's nice and lightweight. I like that it's got a strap that I can crossbody even as a plus size. It hits just above my hip, which is where my smallest part of my body is. I've actually got really small, I've got a really small waist, but I've got massive hips thanks to my mum. But it hits me in the smaller curve part, so it doesn't sort of jut out, which I really hate when my crossbody bags sit on that wider part of me. This one is just short enough to sit in that sort of curve, and it's really easy to carry that way. It also, because of this part of the strap, sits on my shoulder quite nicely. I have some bags that sort of slide off my shoulder because I've got very round shoulders. I also love that it's got the two straps at the top to carry. I don't think you can buy this or pre-order it at the moment on the site. It says sold out. I don't know whether they'll restock it or whether they'll do it in a different color. I loved the color because I wear so much pink that I know that yellow goes really nicely with pink, so I was pretty happy. It was a little bit darker than I was expecting. I was expecting it to be a bit more brighter, and I think that's because the videos that I watch have obviously have lighting and stuff, but when it arrived I was just a little bit shocked, but I still really loved it nonetheless. Now it does have a zip closure that you can have open or closed. I've got it open at the moment, but I like the fact that you could have it both ways. Oh, my phone's going off. And so it zips closed like this, and so you've only got sort of these little areas which you obviously could get your hand in, but like you'd have to have abnormally small hands to try and get something out of that pocket without someone noticing. And I think I really like that. I've got the petite engineer bag, and I probably could get that out to compare it for you, but this is still a little slightly bigger, same sort of design, but I loved this aspect that you could zip it up, which is what made it a contender to travel with. You've also got an inside pocket in here, just the one, and it's quite deep. It goes almost to the bottom of the bag. And I was going to show you, well, currently what's in my bag at the moment is my phone, which has got a million notifications on it. My wallet, which I am considering taking to Japan. This is also Superior Labor. Now, I got this on their Instagram account. They have, excuse me. They have an Instagram account where they put up seconds of things, and they have them at a discounted rate. And I've had this for almost a year, and the reason why it was considered a second was because of the patina not getting this part, and obviously it's darkened heaps more since I've had it, because it's been used and has, I should probably give it a good sunbake and try and even up the color, but it really doesn't bother me. I'm still trialing this to take to Japan. I don't know if I will or not. I'm still trying. I have my most used, our savings card here. It has a zip pocket which I've got coins in. At the moment I have like our gold coins, and I have all my silver in a coin purse in here, otherwise it just gets too bulky. I have the rest of my cards, like my credit card, my Medicare card, Flybuys, driver's license, and my Pasmo card, which is the travel card that you use in Japan. And then there's a spare pocket here. Oh no, it's not a spare. I have that in that pocket there, and then I have some money that is clipped here, and this is what I've been saving on the side for my babysitting. I shouldn't say babysit because she's the same age as Elijah, but my girlfriend pays me to mind her daughter every afternoon after school, so I've been squirreling that sort of money away in the back because that will be spending money for Japan, so that's kind of there. I like it. I know that we do use a lot of cash in Japan, and I had picked this wallet specifically because it had the divided compartments, but it is all leather, so it's got a bit of weight to it, and weight is a thing that you think about with traveling. So it's still a maybe at the moment, but I'm trialing it in this combination so I can decide whether it's worth having it or picking something that's lighter. I have my AirPods in here, which I know I'll be taking to Japan with me. This is what I do because I have crazy anxiety, and I'm going to Japan for the first week with the girls, so I'm not with my husband for the first week, and I obviously haven't done an international trip without him. And even though I love the girls so very much and they're going to be amazing, I still have my anxiety worries. And so one of the things that I can control is how I feel, and I have been planning outfits, I've been test driving outfits, and one of the things when I get really hyper anxious is my clothing feels like it's suffocating me, and I feel like I can't move, and I get really overheated, and I go really bright red, and I start sort of sweating. And so I've been trying out certain outfits to see how I feel in them, how I move in them, and if I get anxious in a setting where I'm out and about in that outfit, how does it make me feel in that moment? So I'm trying to control aspects of our trip, like my what I wear and what I hold, so that if I do get anxious as a precursor, like if I have a moment where I am anxious, I don't feel like I need to rip off several layers of my clothing, and my bag isn't making me feel uncomfortable. I know it seems really strange and odd, but that's something that I know I can control, and so I am trying to control it before I go away so that I can make it the most relaxing feeling for me when I go away. I know I sound like a crazy person, but it's definitely something that I can control. I can control how I feel in my clothing. I can make sure that I'm wearing the most comfiest clothes, that I still feel cute in, and my shoes are not giving me blisters and stuff like that, and my bag's not weighing 100 tons and is really what's the word, it does, like, it's travel friendly. I can carry it crossbody, I can be hands-free, I can carry it by the handle. So I've got a few bags that are being trialed as the bag that I take with me. I did pick up a mini Kanken in the orchid color, which I thought I was going to take, but the straps are too short for me being a plus size girl. I can get the backpack on, but it sits really high up and it looks stupid. So I'm going to have to work out what I'm going to do there. So I'm going to take my normal size pink one that I took last time and one other bag. I'm just trying to decide which other bag that is. Anyway, I'm babbling. This little beauty is a new addition, and this was from my stationery selection box this month. I didn't unbox it on camera like I normally do. I kind of just ripped open the box all excited. And this was one of the items in there that Mitz has collaborated with the Superior Labor. It's a cute little pouch. She picked the colors and right down to the zipper. It's all her, and I absolutely love it. It's so cute, and when I pulled it out, I went, oh my god, that's so Mitz. It totally reminds me of her color palette and the things that she loves, especially in her leather choices. So I loved that. I've got a whole heap of makeup. I've got spare cards in here. I've got my migraine medication. I've got one left. So I've got spare sort of cards that I have. I keep losing my T2 cards, so I have several of them. I have lipstick, band-aids, and that's pretty much it. I normally have other stuff in here, but I haven't transferred it over. Oh, and like a spray for my glasses. So that is become my little catch-all pouch in my bag. And it's super light, so that's a contender as well. I've got my little change purse. This is from a company called Afternoon with Albert, and we found it at a Finders Keepers market here in Sydney around Father's Day, and hubby actually bought like a cord roll thing where all his tech cords for work could go in, and this was something, they had a deal where if you bought two items it was cheaper. So I picked this little coin purse, and it's just literally got all my silver coins in it because they're really stupidly heavy. It's a cute little size. I've got my little Gigi from Oh my god, my brain's just gone blank. The Studio Ghibli film. Kiki's Delivery Service. Oh my goodness. As you can tell, I am sick again, thanks to my daughter, my wonderful daughter, who had a cold and has given it to me and has given it to hubby. He's at work though. So yeah, that's the little chain, the coin purse that I have in my bag. What else do I have in here? I have my traveler's notebook, and I'm going to show you what... I'm going to get my A5 as well so you can see, but as you can see, the traveler's notebook fits in there with absolutely no issues whatsoever. There's quite a large amount of space. I don't know if it will stand up. I mean, it will, but it won't zip. Or it might zip. No, it won't zip. So if you're packing it and you want to keep it unzipped, you can definitely stand your journal up. And this is the journal that I'm taking to Japan, the one that I'm going to travel with. I still have to make my journal for that, which will be a video. So I have that in there. And then I have my keys. And then I have my Opal card, which is like our travel card, and my Hello Kitty pass holder. And then I have my anxiety medication. And that is everything in there. I just wanted to show you because I will be traveling with this in the airport. So I won't be able to zip my bag up in the airport. But this is my iPad Pro. I've got it in a case, as you can see. And it does fit in here. But it will not be able, like, it just fits. I won't be able to zip it up if I was to, because I would draw on the plane. So I won't be able to zip it up if I take this in my actual bag and not my suitcase, my carry-on suitcase. So that's sort of a decision I need to make. I may put it in my carry-on suitcase, and then once I've gone through security and everything, where I want my bag zipped because it gets placed on conveyor belts and stuff like that. You never know. So it does have that. Let me see. Let me go grab an A5. I thought I can see my A5, but it's like my one that's almost finished, so it's chunky as hell. But I will go grab an A5 notebook to show you what it looks like in here, because I know a lot of you carry A5s as well. Okay, so I've got my A5 and my B6, and I've obviously got something that everyone's familiar with the Leuchtturm. So that fits in there quite easily. There's a lot of room. The A5, can the A5, it could stand up. Like you can see, it's under the zipper. So definitely you could put your A5 in there and zip it if you wanted to. There's my A5 Sojourner. That won't be able to be zipped, but it does fit in that way. And obviously the B6 will fit. B6 fits standing and can be zipped, and obviously fits lying down. I think it's got enough room in it to hold quite a lot of stuff. It is very lightweight. I mean, you don't have to carry it with the handle. You could just have it as a top handle bag. I know the actual hardware on the handle is super like heavy, like it's durable and feels really nice, but I definitely would rather have the strap on, even though it adds to the weight factor. So because these are like hardcore hardware, but I like that it feels weighty, and I think I like that I'm not worried about like my straps coming undone and stuff like that. So I love it, and I'm definitely considering this as my Japan travel bag, and I have my pink Kunken as my backpack for the days where I'm going to carry stuff on my back. But I always have a bag that I take through the airport, because you can't take, I mean, you can take a backpack, but then you can't take a suitcase because they consider backpacks as carry-on luggage. So if I took my Kunken, I wouldn't be able to take my cabin bag, like my cabin suitcase. So I always have a handbag with me, and I'm definitely thinking that this is going to be that bag. There's my phone. And I also have my black pussy hat that is a lovely inky knitted for me in black because it's so cold here. But yeah, that's my current purchase. It's really lovely. It's very lightweight. It was expensive, which is why I got it for my birthday, but it's very beautifully made, so it will last a long time. And I think that's what everyone who I watched their videos also said, that it was an investment piece and that it was going to be super durable. Now I've seen Wakako and her beautiful bags that they travel with and they use all the time. They have the really big one, the engineer tote, and it always looks so beautiful even when it's been aged. I mean, I did and ah about the white bottom, but in the scheme of things, it's just a bag. It's there to be used. I'm not gonna fuss. I think it'll be nice to see when these patina and everything, when they get sort of marked and used, and I think it'll be a really good companion. It's worked out really nicely. It's not too heavy. It does have a little bit of weight to it now that I've got kind of everything in it. But I think that the fact that you can hand hold it if your shoulder's hurting or crossbody it is definitely really good. It does have lots of settings too. I've got mine on the longest because if I'm crossbody, I'm plus size, I need as much length as I can get. And like I said, it sits really nicely. I'm not modeling it for you guys, sorry, it's not happening. But yeah, that is the bag that I waited it was probably the longest pre-order I've ever waited for, but it was totally worth it. So I thought I'd just give you a look-see at it because I had a couple of people ask me, and I know that Maria and Annie were looking forward to seeing it because I don't know how many they sold for pre-order, and I don't know if they'll be getting it back. I will put a link to it in the description, but last time I checked it said sold out. I don't know if they'll restock it. They may restock it. It'd be really nice in red. I think red would be a really nice color to do this bag in. But yeah, I think the color is really beautiful. It will probably match a lot of my outfits because it's colored, because I am wearing quite a lot of colored clothing to Japan, obviously. Yeah, that's enough talking now. I need to go make a cup of tea. This studio vlog is very mishmashy. There's lots of bits and pieces that I want to show you and talk to you about. So I thought that I would just put it all in the one thing because it's one of those things where there's lots of different thought processes and ideas and tidbits and things like this that don't have a real home in a video. So it's very much a patchwork vlog where I've got lots of things that are sort of swimming around my head. I want to talk about a texture library, a digital texture library. I want to talk to you about what was the other thing? My Disney journal. There's just a few things that I want to talk about, as well as finishing covering this book and contacting it, because as you see, as I've been using it, it's getting more and more worn out. So I'm going to do that on camera. I've got some background play, but there's lots of bits and pieces that I wanted to get into a video that are interesting, but they're not worthy of having their own video. So that's why I decided to show you this beauty in this video, because I know a lot of us love to look at what everyone else is carrying, what's out there, what will fit your journals. Is this a viable option? I know I researched this before I purchased it. I watched all the videos that were out on it because they had some for sale before they did it on pre-order. So they had a first run, which I obviously missed out on. And then when I'd seen all the videos about it, I then went and pre-ordered it. So I do my own research as well. So these are the types of videos that I like to look at in order to make a decision whether something's going to work for me or not. An idea that's been bubbling around in my head for quite some time, and I feel like I've touched on it before, is the idea about keeping a digital texture hard drive or a library, so to speak, and I haven't put it into practice. It's one of those things that sort of mill around my head for a while, and then I obviously get sidetracked and I forget about it, and then it comes into my mind when I'm gonna do something digital or when I've got an idea in my head. And I know that collage sheets this month, or like next month for September, there's going to be a lot of plants in it, and there's been a request for lots of plant love, which I'm a-okay with. I'm a plant mum. I have plants all around my house, and I love how they make me feel and everything like that. Blah blah blah. Sidetrack, that's what I do. But I want to be able to use my iPad because that's very efficient for me. But at the same time, I want to incorporate traditional mediums into my digital practice. And I've talked about that I want to do a traditional to digital video, and I'm still going to do that. I don't want to talk about this bit of it in that video because it takes away from the actual process of it. And the only reason why your video isn't that video today is because I'm sick and I haven't got enough of the video done in order for it to be shown to you yet. But I have talked about David Litchfield so many times. I've shown you his books quite a few times as well. He is an amazing artist and I loved his TED Talk. I'll obviously put that down below. I've linked it before, but I know there's quite a few of you that are new and you may not have gone back that far with my videos. But he is an artist that I am really inspired by, and he is someone whose work really got to me. And he has such beautiful imagery in his children's books. And I remember when I first came across him, I can't even remember how I came across his work, but I was like enamored by it, by the texture, by the feel of it, by all of it. And so I researched and I was like, is this digital? Is it traditional? Like, I was trying to work out. It has a very traditional feel to it. But there were things in there that I was like, there's no way that he could replicate that traditionally. Like, I felt like there was just something about it. More so in the forest stuff, in The Bear and the Piano. And I've talked about this before. Like, this sort of stuff. There are textures in here that there's no way. Like, it's too perfect to be traditional. I mean, I know there's, you know, realism out there, but he was not that kind of artist. And so I researched and looked and I read through interviews and everything as to what was his creative process and how, like, what was he doing? Was he doing digital? Was he doing traditional? I wanted to know because I loved how this looked. And I can't remember where I found it, because I searched for a long time. I like single white femaled him, and whenever his name was mentioned, I read what it was that he had to say. And it is a mixture of digital and traditional in his work. And I was like, oh, finally. So the things that I thought were, you know, I knew he had done traditionally was when he said when he starts a new project, he does a whole heap of watercolor washes. He goes out and takes photograph of textures, like things like this here, this bark here, that looks like a legit photograph of some tree bark that he has digitally put into this. And there are, you know, textures and watercolor washes that, like, you just cannot get digitally. Well, I'm not at the level where I could get it digitally, but I can definitely create something like that traditionally and then morph that into my digital practice, overlay it, morph it in. And he does that. He says he does a whole lot of painting and washes and goes out and takes photographs of textures and things like that to use for his base components, and then that gives a certain feel to the book that he's creating. So like if he makes a whole heap of textures and washes and things, they're used throughout the whole of the project to give it a cohesive look. And I thought that was just so genius, because there are so many things that you can do digitally that you can't do traditionally, and vice versa. But marrying them together creates such an amazing look to things. And so I wanted to take a leaf out of his book and do the same, and especially with the plants, because I would like to do some watercolor washes and things with greens and stuff like that, and use that, or even take some photos of my actual plant leaves and use those to overlay on top of some of my digital drawings. And so that's kind of an idea process that I'm thinking about. I'm actually going to go and buy a cheap small hard drive so that all that sort of stuff, like washes, I want to do watercolor washes in certain colorways with different varying of those colors, and I want to have photographs of, you know, bricks and textures and bark and all that sort of thing, so that when I come to do things I can use those and pull that, because it's my own photography and stuff, kind of like the dried flowers. I could definitely, I've got ideas for using some of those gerberas, you know, the bright yellow one. I've got a picture of it where's my phone? I don't know if it's on my phone. I took a photo of this flower in a certain way, and all I could think of was that would make a great hat for a creature. And that's kind of my thought process. So I've photographed it that way, and that can definitely make a really cute hat for a monster or a fairy or something like that. But like, that's where I think when your brain can do so many things and put together so many things, but like, I can't replicate the whimsical nature of traditional watercolor. I can't replicate it digitally. I know there's like apps and things that you can use, but there's nothing like the magic of actual watercolor mixing on paper, the happy accidents, the exciting bit of seeing all the colors do its own thing together. And I think that I would rather have that experience and then scan it and bring that into my work. And still have like the paper grain and things, like the watercolor grain, that you can see the texture of that with the watercolor. I think that will give it another dimension to a digital painting that you couldn't get. I guess you could. Maybe it's just because I lack the skills, but I would rather do it my way in that process than by trying to learn the skills in order to mimic watercolor. I don't want to give up my traditional art mediums in order to do something digitally. I want to be able to marry the two, and doing so like here. This is just a really simple example. These are the dried flowers that I photographed last time, and then this is a digital girl that I pulled together through traditional mediums. If you remember, I painted everything traditionally, scanned them, and then pulled them into Procreate. And my iPad is here. Let me grab it out. So I've got stuff in here already. Like, I've got tea stain paper and crumpled paper in here, things that I can use. Like, okay, so remember the calendar that I did this month for you guys? These clouds in the background, I painted traditionally. I painted them traditionally. I used a mixture of different colorways. I tried different shapes and things, and I wanted to have traditional types. One sec. Talking lots does not bode well when you've got a tickle at the back of your throat. Anyway, these are all done traditionally, and then I pulled them into the calendar, and then I made them what they are. You can see them in the background, and I've made some of them grayscale so they blend more in the background. I then do scribble clouds as well. This guy here, I painted him traditionally as well. Do I have him in here? No. This is what he was. I painted him traditionally. I added the eyes digitally. I added all this line work digitally, but I painted his actual body traditionally because I couldn't replicate watercolor stuff without, you know, all these beautiful mixings and the granulation and stuff. I can't do that digitally. I don't have the skills. I don't want to learn the skills. If I can do this traditionally and then scan it and then pull it in, I'd much rather do that. And then I've got, what was I actually talking about? Like these guys. Okay. And I did a video on these, and I'll track it down and put it down below if you haven't watched it. I painted all this stuff traditionally, and have my hot drink next to me so I can stop the cough. I did all this traditionally, and then I pulled it into Procreate and created these guys, which were just cutouts, and that was based on another studio vlog where I was chasing the muse. And all this sort of stuff is like adding them. Are they in here? Yeah, I've just covered them up. I had all my little creatures that I had done digitally and traditionally. I'm so sick of saying those two words, guys. And then just added them in, and that's definitely using my photography skills and using real life stuff that I could never replicate artistically. Like, I would much rather merge the two and have them sort of having that element of reality mixed in with the imaginary. And I think if I was ever to create a children's book, it would definitely be very, very similar. And the artist that reminds me of that as well is Lauren Child, I think. Let me go grab my Mary Poppins book, because she is the creator of Charlie and Lola. I don't have any Charlie and Lola books. Sadly, I probably should add one to my children's book collection. But she also does the whole thing where she scans fabrics and all sorts of things to add a collage element to her digital work. And that sort of stuff just makes me so giddy with excitement. And this is kind of where the whole traditional versus digital is where I'm coming from. And marrying the two can be such a cool adventure that opens up a whole different realm. I know I'm babbling about this, but I'm babbling about it because I want to show you that there could be a completely different avenue to your artwork that you hadn't considered before. And I definitely want to go through the process of creating a digital library and a texture library. And so I take so many different photos of like ground, where my feet stand and stuff like that. Those sorts of things are useful to create those sorts of things. Like the brickwork that's outside of my back veranda, I love taking photos against that brickwork. I'm going to take a photo of just the bricks because I think the bricks could come in handy as a texture later on. And it doesn't mean that I have like a big chunk of bricks in my photo. I can overlay it and change the opacity so it gives the illusion of brickwork up against some watercolor that is sort of brick colored. Those sorts of things. And it's really hard to explain without actually doing it. But I need to create the library first, which is something that I will be exploring in future studio vlogs and kind of showing you the things that I am pulling from texture-wise and color-wise. And I'll definitely be showing you some of the process of the plants that I create for this month's collage sheets in another video, because I really want to, or maybe even this video, I don't know, I'm not quite sure because I feel like I'm talking quite a lot. Anyway, I'm gonna go get my Mary Poppins book and show you that quickly before I get really off track. This is the beautiful book that I got for my birthday. And Lauren Child is the creator and writer of Lola and Charlie and Lola, which I know my kids watched, Lily in particular. And I loved watching it, and I love looking through the books, even though we don't own any, because of the way that she created her artwork. And like, first page, this is fabric. This is fabric that's been scanned and then obviously used. So this is the first page that I flipped open to, and this is a scan of fabric that has been manipulated into the piece. And then you've got things like this is all fabric, and then they've got drawings and illustrations, and then you've got stuff like this, which isn't really, although this is bricks, like actual texture of bricks like I was talking about. Let's see if I can find more. All this looks like fabric mishmashing, and this looks like something that is like a photograph of like cobblestone fabric. And it just gives such a whimsical look to things. It is so, so cool. I absolutely love how she does it. Like, you can see the actual fabric texture in here. And the stitching. And it's just such an unusual look, but it's so, so cool. And I just absolutely love the look of it. I just think it's got such a unique look. It might not be up to everyone's taste, but it's definitely something that I find inspiring and that I like the thought of incorporating. I already do incorporate it sometimes, but I haven't done it to that level. This is an Alice in Wonderland book, and it has the same sort of feel where it's lots of collage pieces mixed in with watercolor. And I definitely think that there is a mixture of digital and traditional in this book, or it may just all be traditional, but I feel like some of it definitely has that feel, like bits and pieces. It's just so well done. This is one of my favorite books that I own. And it actually makes me think of that, is it the same person? Give me a sec, just give me a sec. Oh my god, it is! Look! Andrea D'Aquino, and it's the same person. And that is where this book that I found in Riot really cheaply, that everyone was trying to find, and it's got such really beautiful ideas, and it was this idea that when I was looking through this, now I gotta find the page, that which made me go, is that the same artist? And it is. Oh my god, what a coincidence. I'm like totally in love with this person. Like I need to research more and see if they've got Instagram and stuff like that. But this sort of stuff I feel like is a mixture between digital and traditional and collage. And I just love it. I think maybe now that I've seen it, it's probably all traditional, and I just love it all. Absolutely love it all. But you can see, I even love, look at the spine, man. Like, come on. You can see what I mean by mixing traditional and digital together. Look at the end papers. Like, the moment you open that book, I knew it was for me. I knew it was for me, and I can't believe that it's by the same artist that I picked up that book at Riot and fell head over heels with. I just absolutely, this is one of my favorite books, and now I know that it's the same artist. Now I need to go and find if there's anything else by that artist. But this is like a little segment on the ideas and the concepts, and something that I want to go further with creatively by creating a texture library, taking photographs, scanning watercolors, and creating color palettes and things. So when I'm talking about washes, I want to do like a green wash, I want to do like a pink wash, I want to do single solo colors, and have them scanned and have them in a library for like washes, like a folder for washes, a folder for textures, photographs and things, scans of real things like the dried flowers and things like that. Like having a library, a hard drive just filled with all that I can then import into my iPad when I want to use it. And I definitely think that'll be really cool for monsters, because I think that monsters can have so much depth, and I think and this is kind of thought processes that I want to put into your traditional digital video. Photographing textures like fabric, and you know that weird fluffy yarn that I always think of Dead Muppets when I think of it, but I think that sort of texture, like a knitted swatch of that, would look really cool layered over a monster for like fur and that eyelash yarn. And I think that those things can make monsters have so much more depth than just if I was to hand color it. I think that it'd be really fun to play with that idea a bit more and explore that idea. And this is what I mean by taking things that you're passionate about and really chasing them down and pushing them to the boundaries and thinking, how can I change this? How can I do this differently? How can I explore it? How can I find another way to implement it into my work? And I think that's what I kind of try and do every day, and try and find ways in which I can make my monsters different. I can make them sort of stand out a bit more. And I definitely want to take, when we talk about taking inspiration from other artists, I don't like taking people's style or color palette or anything like that, but I do look at their process and think that would be really cool. I wonder if I could use that idea in my own work. And that's kind of how I use my inspiration of artists, like using David Litchfield's process of having textures and everything like that and importing that into my digital work is an idea that I use as inspiration. Whether it's like, but it's not me going into his work and going, okay, I really like how he drew that, I'm going to draw the same thing, just tweak it a little bit in my own style. Does that make sense? Am I making sense, or am I just like hyped up on, I don't even have any cold and flu meds right now. But that's kind of where I'm at right now with the thought processes of creating a texture library. for my digital work, because I will never abandon traditional. I love art supplies way too much ever to abandon it, but I think there's a really cool way to marry the two so that you're getting the best of both worlds. And I like the fact that with digital work, like my monster, like this girl here, I've started working on her, and I'll have the overlay in this video. I've started tweaking her and working on her. Hold on, let me get rid of my background image because she's slowly coming together. I don't know whether I like her coloring, which is where she's stagnant at the moment. I am considering doing a wash of blue in a few different shades on watercolor paper, scanning it and trying that. And I think I may do that for this video so you can see where I am coming from. And I was gonna do the same sort of thing for her t-shirt, because my actual t-shirt that this is based off, it looks like it's done traditionally with like actual watercolor paint. It's got that feel to it, but I obviously didn't want to completely rip off my t-shirt design, because that's, you know, wrong. And especially if I was to create this, I'm creating this for collage sheets, I didn't want it to be absolutely exactly the same, because that's stealing. And even though it is me documenting my outfit ideas for Japan and putting it on a monster, it's still someone else's work. But I think that I might try that sort of wash look in watercolor and bring that in and see if I can layer that over her and see if that will work a bit better, and maybe give a bit more dimension than just me using the gouache tool in Procreate. I think that'll help. It's why I haven't finished her, because I just feel like she's a bit flat. She's a bit flat. So I may get out my watercolors and a piece of watercolor paper and do some blue washes here on camera, and then we'll scan it and see what it looks like, and that can be a little idea. I want to do more of these for the video and talk about the kind of the same thing of what I'm talking about now, but actually putting into practice. But I thought I'd just do a little tidbit in this video so you can have an idea about what the heck I'm talking about.
Seems like forever since we've been together. Oh God, I miss you bad, and I read your letters and look at your pictures. Oh God, I miss you so bad. It's been so long, I know, but I'm finally coming home. Till then I'm dreaming of your heart, your eyes, our love. Darling, I can't wait till I see your face. Oh God, I miss you bad. The only thing I need is you beside me. Oh God, I miss you so bad. It's been so long, I know, but I'm finally coming home. Till then I'm dreaming of your heart, your eyes, our love. Your heart, your eyes. it's been so long. I know, but I'm finally coming home. Till then I'm dreaming of your heart, your eyes, our love. Your heart, your eyes, our love. Hey, darling, can I tell you what's been on my mind? Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey, darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Hey, darling, I love it when it's me and you on the road with a couple of tunes in a car for two. Hey, darling, you know we're gonna have a really good time, driving in the middle of the night when the stars are bright. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Ooh. Let's get out, we can leave this city. Let's drive to the open air. Yeah, the countryside is so pretty, with the wind blowing in your hair. We can look back someday. Baby, don't you understand that we only get one life? I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Yeah, we only get one life. I wanna make it count, honey. Come on now and take my hand. Oh my child, I know you're hurt and you can't let go. It's not your fault and you don't deserve all the bad and the hurt. I know you tried so hard. I know you've done your part. It's not fair. You did your time. How much longer will you suffer in this life? But don't give up. Just hold on tight. It'll be alright. All your all in life you've tried to be a good man inside. Did everything that you thought you should. Didn't seem to do you any good.
Alright, that is done and dusted and covered. The only thing I didn't like was that because the tape is so strong, it's pulled my, because I've laid it acrossways instead of straight because of my book, my sort of leather tab here. I've had to lay it over in sections so that I skipped covering this bit. I do have some bubbles here because of that, which annoys me, but it's okay. At least I know it's completely covered now and is not going to get ruined as it gets pulled in and out of my journal, and I think that I'll feel much better, even though it's not the best job. It's okay. I really like the back though. I'm glad that I finally ended up covering the back with a few bits and pieces. And I love my bookbinding tape. I absolutely love it. It's so super strong and durable, and it really is nice and clear, and everything stays true to color. It doesn't have like some contacts seem to dull down the stuff that's underneath it, I found, and I've tried a whole heap of brands. I've tried expensive ones, cheap ones, and I just haven't found anything that has done the right look and feel as this tape has, and it just has been fantastic. It did go over my wax seal not too badly, so I'm glad that that is done. I mean, it's not perfect, and obviously I've got a bubble or two along here where the leather tab is, because I had to pull it up twice to get it to lay down properly, but you don't really see it on there in like when you look at it on, what do you call it, look at it straight on. But yeah, that is that task done. Happy that that's finished and is all good, and my pen loop is still all intact. I do wish that I'd put a little bit longer tape down the bottom here, because it's not sticking, even not sticking on top of the washi tape that I just put down there to try and fix it. So I might try some clear tape and see if that works. I probably should have added, like up here I've got so much extra. Oh, I'm off camera, sorry. I've got so much extra, but down here I had like nothing, and I don't want to put another layer down here because that's just defeats the purpose. It would just be ridiculous. But overall, we're all good. We're all good. Another book taken care of and won't fall apart in my abusive journal ways, because I don't baby the inserts. They get dog-eared and they get like chunky, and I like that lived-in feel, but I just didn't like that my cover was starting to, like the collage was starting to peel off, and that's because I've got A-grade glue skills. As you guys are well aware of my shady glue skills, so at least I know now that it'll hold up to the abuse, and my collage elements will all stay on point. I'm still waiting for my watercolor to dry. I don't want to use the heat gun for that. So what I might do is work on the background that you saw me start working on in the start of this video. I have scanned it and need to import it into Procreate and sort of add some digital stuff to it as well. Book that I also pre-ordered the day it was talked about and released by the lovely Lisa Condon. I love her work. I've got a few of her books. I love what she does. I love her Instagram feed. I love her style. It is so very cool. And when she talked about releasing this book, I went straight to Book Depository and pre-ordered it. I think that was like back in March as well. Like, it was a really long time, and I knew that I wanted to grab it. I only arrived yesterday, so I have not read it, but I wanted to sort of talk about it because I think anything that this woman has to say is filled with so much experience and knowledge in the business that I just feel like it is such an important book to read, regardless of what level your art's at or your artistic career's at, or even if just wanting to make art into a practice or something, you know what I mean, make art part of your life. Steps to building skill: begin, practice, keep showing up, practice some more, stretch yourself, practice, note your improvement, practice more, repeat. And that is so true. There is no secret to getting better at art. There's literally no shortcuts that you can take. You just have to practice, stretch, try, experiment, and make mistakes and grow from them and learn from them. And this is like one of those books that's not just like filled with pretty pictures. It's got information in it that I cannot wait to sit down. I'm going to do a book review on this one because I really think that this is going to be such a great book. I can't wait to sit down and start it. And it's got so many beginning anyhow, moving through the fear, seeking the comfort of the perfect moment, embrace the suck, begin anyhow, fear and the creative process. I just think there's so much that this can help us as artists. It's obviously available now because I got my pre-order. It wasn't too expensive either, but I didn't care. I love this woman's work. I love her creative outlook, and I love the knowledge that she was going to bring to the table, and that's why I had no qualms in pre-ordering it. The moment she announced it on her Instagram, I went straight to Book Depository, found it for pre-order, and grabbed it. And I cannot wait to give you guys a better sort of review on it. I just wanted to sort of chuck it in here and show you that it exists, because not a lot of people either know her work or knew that she had a new book. And I just think this is such a good one for people that are always worrying about their own style, how to find your style, find your own artistic voice, all that sort of thing. And there are so many people that ask me about that, and there's no answer to it except you keep plodding along and your style will find you. But then obviously there's a lot more information here, and I'm pretty sure it's got an artist's voice is their calling card. It allows viewers looking at a work, whether in a museum or on a social media, to recognize the creator. And as most creatives quickly realize, developing a one-of-a-kind aesthetic takes work, but you don't have to do it alone. Dive into this book and let artist and best-selling author Lisa Condon lead you on a journey of self-discovery. And I just cannot wait to sit down this weekend, because that's what I will be doing. I will be sitting down this weekend with my tea and my journal, my bullet journal. I'll be making a page in my bullet journal devoted to making notes about this, so that when I come to do another studio vlog, I can definitely, or even just a little quick video book nook on the actual book itself. But if you have been struggling with finding that sort of missing link to your creative process, or trying to figure out how you can be how you can find your own voice, your own creative stamp, I think this would be a great book. Even though I haven't read it, I just truly believe in this woman, and her knowledge in the business and in the industry has so much weight behind it that I can't see how this book wouldn't be a great read regardless. So that's just my 2 cents worth.
As I'm staying close to the mirror, a lock of gold, a secret smile, little things I remember, place a hand upon my heart as her, she was a believer. Sometimes I can feel her arms holding me as forever. Changes everything, and everything will change. my shoulder. A lock of gold, a secret smile. I will tell you when you get older. I place a hand upon your heart. Every beat is taking me over. And I will hold you in my arms. Pretend we'll stay here forever. Time changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart, and any heart can change you. Je call, I fall. There's a legacy between us. We grow, we go, but in the middle, time changes everything, and everything will change in time. Love changes every heart, and any heart can change you. Looking for my mother's eyes as I'm staying close to the mirror.
Secondhand, I felt a bit forgotten. Not your plan, but now the days of silence outgrow the fun things we have done. But tell me, do you wanna carry on? Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder, and let's enjoy the ride. When we started, our wishes aligned. We were like yin and yang combined. Now the tables have turned. Can we live and unlearn? You tell me. Plants don't grow without water, and they cave when it's cold. We could go till we're older. Put your head on my shoulder, and let's enjoy the ride. Let's just live a life. Anything, anywhere, I don't really care, as long as I'm with you. Say something, don't be speechless. I'm sleepless, so alone in this stillness. Oh, I long for you, sweet.
Right, so I've done a little bit of work with my drawing. Now this is where she was at pre-using the what do you call it, the texture stuff. So this is the one with the salt that you saw me paint and add the salt to it. So it looks really cool. I hope to use it in the future for other things. And I thought that that texture would be really cool. So this is where she was before I decided to try the texture with her. Now if I turn that layer off, because I left it, this is her with the texture, and this is her with the extra added bits and pieces that you saw me working on. So I added colored pencil and some shading, and I made her little spots on there, and you can see that it just gives it so much more dimension than if I had just used the flat color and worked my magic that way. Like this sort of like areas in here, I think the white sketching pencil really gives it a really cool look. You can see it sort of sketched in to certain places. It's something different. It might not be everyone's cup of tea. I have considered sort of doing a bit more colored pencil work to soften some areas, that like the big sort of dots and things, but I just think that it's a different take on working with texture and a way to give my monsters something different to sort of look and feel. If I took off the salt section, so you can see this is all the colored pencil areas, and if I put that on, obviously it doesn't look good because all the colored pencil areas were basically for the salted watercolor section, but this is, I don't know, I just think that it gives it a bit of a more unusual look that it didn't have before. And I just think that's a really cool way to sort of play around with the texture and stuff, and sort of trying to integrate the idea of using these sorts of mediums on other things. So I'm trying to think where else I could use it today, but my brain is not computing all that well. And I also use sections from here, the background here, for her little accents on her ears, because I thought it was something different. I don't know if I would keep that there or not. Whoops, too many windows. But I definitely like how she's turned out. I think she looks really super cute. I think I need to make her, oh, my battery's at 10%. I need to make her little shoes down the bottom white. Oh, if I put my background layer on, yeah, she looks a little bit more better, but I think she's really cute, and I think she'll look adorable in a collage sheets. I actually want to print her out and put her in my journal now, because I really like how she looks. I think she's turned out really cute, and it's just something sort of different that I haven't really experimented with before, and it's something that I want to continue to experiment and trial. And that's the whole point of creative journeys, is to do things that you haven't done before or haven't really played with before, because that experimenting is so vital to our creative process. You don't know if something's going to work unless you try it, and yeah, it may fail, but then you know for next time, okay, well that didn't work, how about this, and how about this, and then you discover new ways of doing things. Some things may work amazing, some things may work badly, but then you may apply that bad technique to a different process and it could be amazing. And I think that's what I love about the creative journey, is it's like mad science, really. When it all boils down to it, it's just a whole lot of mad experiments, and some become amazing, wonderful successes, and some are failures, and it's okay to fail because you don't learn anything if you don't try. And that's definitely something that I've been trying to implement into my 2019 creative practice, is it's okay if it fails, because you haven't lost anything from trying. You may have lost a bit of supplies and a bit of time, but you gain experience and you gain creative confidence. Okay, the last little tidbit before I clock out of this very hodgepodge video is I'm slowly getting myself together to start my Disney journal videos for you guys. I have a whole heap of stuff. I am currently missing my Hong Kong stuff at the moment. I can't seem to find all my bits and pieces for that, but I just want to show you the kind of things that I have. I've got postcards from our very first trip that if you remember, when I went to America, I was going to put all my journaling in my A5, and I started journaling our Disney trip already, and here was the map and everything in here. And then what I have done is I've pulled out the last few bits and pieces and just left the altered map in there because I had a second one, so I've kept the map in there with all the alterations that I did to it, and I'm going to leave that be in there because I like that it's there, but I wanted to have stuff that was specifically just all our Disney stuff. I have saved some of our tickets. I am missing one of the tickets for Tokyo Disney, so this one was hubby's and my mini one is sort of missing at the moment. I have all the little printables that Johanna sent to me. with my the actual journal. So I've got all those beautiful little prints that she's printed out for me. So I've got those. Then I've got a plethora of different maps from when we went to the one in LA and the Tokyo Disney, and I've also got the Hong Kong ones as well, but they're currently all together stashed somewhere safe. So I've got maps to use in the journal, and I like that they're a little bit larger. I've also pulled out some of my photos from our trip, and like the maps themselves fit beautifully, and that was the one thing, because this is slightly larger than A5. I like that I don't have to change or cut it down or anything like that, that these will fit in without having to sort of decide will they go in or won't they go in. So I'm really out of breath because I'm sick, so I feel like I'm running a marathon, but I'm not. I've got postcards that I have saved, like Alice in Wonderland ones, and I've got the California postcards, and I've got some of the larger pictures that I had originally printed out from our first trip. So I've got hubby with my mini ears on, I've got some of the Coco things, I've got pictures from the LA trip with me and hubby, and I also took out the acetate clear stickers. So this is the you can see the big Ferris wheel, and this one was the balloons, the Mickey balloons. I'll probably still put the original photographs in. I just think these are creative, and I took them out of my A5 journal to put them in here. I've got pictures of the two minions. They have grown up so much. I was replaying some of the video footage, and it's amazing that it's only been like 2 years ish, but it feels like so much less. So some of those bits and pieces. I have obviously the scrapbooking things that I picked up in the Disney line, the Say Cheese 1 and 2, which is all sort of Disney themed. So I've got those as well. And I also pulled out the tickets from my A5. This is when we went as a family, so I've got all of our tickets, and I've got like photographs on the backs of those. So I want to actually on the front here there is a library card, and I'm going to put all the dates and the destinations of when we visited. So that's a thought process there. And I've got so much bits and pieces, and I was going to work on it in this video, but I want to do designated Disney journal with me's, but I wanted to sort of chat, because this is all about chatting apparently. I've got stickers that the kids picked up while we were in Disney, and the postcards that we won at the this is some of the Hong Kong stuff for the party games, or the, what do you call it? I've saved a couple of the bags that we got for the merchandise. What else have I got? I've got like our little room key for Tokyo Disney, and we are booked into a Disney hotel for this trip as well with the girls. Sian's not a Disney person, so she's doing it out of the goodness of her heart. I'm hoping we can convert her beforehand, but Sam is definitely a Disney girl, and she was really excited to do a Disney hotel. So we've done like one big room for the 4 of us, so me, Sam and Sian and hubby. At Tokyo Disney, at the Disney store, they give you like the little gold Mickey sticker. I've got labels from clothing. I've also got a Bambi one floating around. So I have so much to journal. And this postcard is actually the artwork that was on our hotel room at Tokyo Disney. So I picked that up. So I've got lots of bits and pieces. And I want to start journaling it all, but I need to go and sit down and do a mass photo print, and that's probably one of the reasons why, because there's so many photos, more of Tokyo Disney than the first one, because the first one was our first family trip, and then I fainted in Disney, so it kind of stopped me taking as many photos because I was just not with it for one of the days, like properly mentally with it. So I've got only a few photos, but I still want to sort of document them. and I'm trying to work out the best way to incorporate my style. And I also want to get the kids to do a little bit of journaling about some of their favorite memories on tip-in cards, and put those in. Now I've got these postcards that I picked up at Dimmicks, and I'm thinking about them putting their memories on these, and I've got a whole stack of them, so I'm thinking I might send a few Disney postcards out to like you guys, because I've got so many of them. And these have got like older pictures of them and the sketches, like the unusual stuff, the work in progress stuff that I think is just really cool. I love Gus and Lucifer. So there's all different, there's a whole heap, there's no doubles, and I just think that it would be really cool to sort of get them to write some of their memories from, you know, Hong Kong Disneyland and the LA one. So that's kind of where I want to start this series, especially since we're coming up on our third trip, or third trip for me, and I want to start getting those memories down into these journals, or this journal, before I forget them. And I want the ephemera to, you know, because I've already misplaced 2 tickets, one from Tokyo Disney and one from Hong Kong. So I need to find where they've hidden themselves and get this sort of stuff sort of locked down, do a mass photo print. I also want to photograph our pin board, because we did pin trading, and scan some of our favorite pins and have those in here as well. There's so many things and ideas that I want to incorporate into this journal, which is why I didn't start working on it today, because there's just such a huge mammoth task. But I want to get all of my supporting things like my photographs and the scans and stuff done probably over this weekend, so I can start the Disney journaling series with you guys. I may do one on here, one on YouTube, because I think it's super fun, and there's not that many Disney related journal videos that I saw, because I went looking when I was thinking about doing this as an idea. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have got to show and say and talk about. It's been a very chatty vlog, but sometimes they are the best ones and you guys enjoy listening. Even though I shouldn't be talking this much, I feel like I'm running a marathon. I am so out of breath. But yeah, I need to get into this journal. I love this photo. I really want this to be the front photo, but like, it's meant to be a family journal. I love this man so much. He brings me so much joy. And I can't wait to experience it all over again with the girls. And obviously hubby, he'll be there for these 2 days. But I need to get this stuff into a journal, so I'm not just, I just feel like I need to make a start. And so they will be some of the journaling with me videos you'll get this month. If you have any ideas on what I should do in this journal, or what you think would look good, please tell me. I've never done a themed journal before, so this will definitely be interesting. I mean, like, I've done my travel journal, but I've never just done several different Disneylands in one. Well, it's all different, and I think I'm done for today. I hope you've enjoyed this really mismatched journal, like studio vlog, creative snippets, all the things, creative pep talk, you know, all the things, the little things that fly around my head that I just want to talk to you guys about and sort of give you, you know, the insight into how my brain works sometimes. Yeah, so have a wonderful day, guys, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.